Welcome everybody to podcast number 4 of the effing title. We got a great one today. Today we have our third ever guest on the channel. I'd like to introduce my quarterback, my old college roommate, one of my best friends, and the only man who still to this day has moves like Jagger. It is Coach Angelos. Is it okay though if I call you Zooty?
Yeah, that's fine,
Yeah,
Colin. That
okay,
was
good.
one heck of an intro there, man. I need you to follow me around and intro me everywhere I go. That was awesome,
Hey,
man.
hey, that's what I do. I'm waiting for the day though, because I already know. I'm waiting for the day when I have someone on that I haven't known as long as like a lot of you guys. So then when I intro them, it's just gonna be like, this is my friend.
This
um,
is this is just this is some guy.
yeah,
Thanks for
exactly.
coming.
Um, so me and Zudi played college football together. We were roommates. He was my quarterback for three, like in like string wise, depth chart wise, for like 3 years, 4 years. Um, one of the best football guys I know. Um, Zudi, you want to tell the guys, the people, a little bit about you? Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. Just a Florida boy. Moved up, played college ball with you at the Wick. Um, Love football so much, did it my whole life. Decided to trade in the helmet for a headset, and this is going on my 28th year of football since the
Damn,
jump. So
that's impressive.
haven't not had a football season since I was 3 years old.
Have you ever realized that, like in like maybe 10, 20 years, you're gonna have more like football experience in you than like an entire high school team might have?
Yeah, it's crazy. I just can't, and it's amazing how things have changed, you know, over my life and how football's affected that. But I just can't not have football. There's an itch there that needs to be scratched, and I always keep coming back.
There we go. So for today, guys, we got another great assortment of topics. We got coaching and family. We got goal setting. We got some best and worst of the NFL Combine, and we got the XFL. I wrote week 3. I'm an idiot. It's week 4. Sorry. So let's get into it, though. Let's start off with coaching and family. Okay. So the first thing that I wanted to do, because I thought it'd be a really interesting thing to open with, is can you go over like a basic like day, a normal coaching day for you? Like let's not say game day. You know what? Fuck it. Let's say the game day. Go over a typical game day for you.
Well, I mean, that's a tricky one too because there's been numerous roles. I'm in an offensive coordinating role now, so it's a little bit different.
Hmm.
Um, but for the most part, even back when I was in a GA role or just your regular old position group guy. But typically this year we're up really early. Now that my life has changed a little bit, I've got a little one rolling around. Um, I get up with her super early, around 6 o'clock on game day, and just kind of have some daddy-daughter time, which is great. Because that's really what matters to me nowadays. Spend as much time as I can with her. Usually make breakfast. Um, Head into the office. Go in there and readjust. Look over the game plan for the 37,000th time. Make sure everything's there. Kind of make sure my opening and my openers are ready to go. Make sure everything's set. Start meeting with um, my quarterback. We usually kind of have a little powwow together. Make sure he's good to go. Make sure he's understands the game plan and everything. Um, and then we'll go grab breakfast with the boys, where you get to see the rest of the coaches and kind of get your mind right for the game. And then we start pregame. Then you have your game. Usually, depending on how that game goes, depends on how the rest of your night. Obviously, if you're a win, you're super happy. You lose, you're bummed, but you're still doing one of two things, which is um, kind of, for lack of a better term, flushing the toilet and moving on, watching film, kind of going over what happened and what went well, what didn't go well. And then I immediately, as soon as I feel good about that, I'm in the car sprinting home to my family. And It's usually pretty late by then, but um, I want to get home to the girls as best I can, as fast as I can.
Yeah.
That's your typical game day, and then you wake up and start it all over again on Sunday and prep for the next week.
It's one of those things that I've always found a little bit crazy, thinking over it a little bit with different people and the way that they think about just what coaching is and everything, and just how much more there is to it, And especially like for
Right.
me, for instance, like yeah, of course, like I have my family, like my mom and my dad, but like I don't have a family. So like for me, it was really easy. It's just it was like get up, go to the get up, do my pregame ritual stuff, go to the game, do that, and then get back. Just try to relax before I got to watch film. You know,
Right.
but once you start getting the family involved in everything, and that's kind of the overarching aspect of this topic, and it's a really interesting one going from me personally seeing this, because of course I coached for 8 years or whatever it was now, I've already forgotten. But going from talking with Sturge about marriage and sports to now talking about you with coaching and family, they're kind of the same
Yeah.
topic, but just a little bit, just enough different that it makes it really interesting for me as a kind of an outsider to the whole like wife, kid, family, dog, house, that sort of thing. So
Mm.
like my next thing I was gonna say is like how tough is it? Because I know you've moved around a little bit. How tough is it when it's been best for family versus best for your career?
Well, I mean, and the big thing that I tell, young guys who are trying to get into the coaching, world. One, and Coach Sturgis, another good friend of mine, spoke to it a couple of episodes ago. It's all about your priorities and who you have, and looking back on my, you know, story or my timeline as a coach. Um, 23-year-old Coach Angelos would give you a completely different answer from 31-year-old Coach Angelos.
Mm-hmm.
I was all, you know, I was all P and V ready to go as a 23-year-old, climb the ladder. All I cared about was coaching and affecting young kids' lives and just being the best coach I could. Then something crazy happened. I found a girl who I got zero reason to be talking to her. Not even in the same league. Um, got lucky enough for her to kind of like me a little bit. Um, Foolishly got her to say yes. We got married, and then
Witness.
kids. Yeah, and then you know now my whole entire life has changed. Football's been a large part of who I am and what I am. Um, but the moment she came into my life, and then the moment I was blessed with a beautiful baby girl, they became the number one thing. And yes, still football's a big part of my life, but nothing will ever come, you know, uh, in front of those two now. I'm sure 23-year-old, 24-year-old, 25-year-old Coach Angelos would be, oh yeah, we'll make it work. I'm still going to be an NFL coach, and we'll figure it out and go from there. It's just unrealistic. Being a father and being a good husband is what matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
And coaching is something that it comes second or tertiary to those two roles. Um, Now, with that being said, coaching, you know, I don't measure my success from the wins and loss columns. I've won a lot of games. I've won a lot of championships as a player and a coach, but I measure my success on the kids that I work with, and are they good kids? Are they going to be good husbands? Are they going to be good fathers? Are they going to be all right?
Yeah.
I've worked with high school kids, college kids, on the scholarship and on the D3 level. I just want kids to, I want them to be good. I want them to be good, honest men.
Mm-hmm.
And if we win a couple of championships and get some rings on our fingers and all that fun stuff, that's great. But that's not why you do this. Nobody who's a coach gets in this for the money.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
unless you're Urban Meyer or Nick Saban, you're not making that kind of money. So
Yeah. No.
there's got to be something else that drives you.
It's always been one of those fun ones as well. Whenever people like I say to people, like about coaching and this and that, and then they always have that misconception of how much work we actually do, how much money we actually make, and I always find it fun whenever people like say something like that, and then and then they ask, and I just tell them bluntly, like, this is how much I made this year, like not season but year, and they just kind of look at me like, are you dumb? Like why, you know?
Yeah.
But like no, you hit it on the head though. I mean, it's like the reason why we coach is to mold boys into men and make men into better men. And when you have a family as well, like it's like one of those things. The popular one that you always hear is faith, family, football. Depending on which
Right.
order, who you are, what order you do, that sort of thing. But like you always see football kind of last. And I can only imagine, and like now with you having a family and everything, like it's become blatantly more obvious that like you said, as soon as the game's over with, you want to get home.
Well, I
You
mean,
know.
and the other thing too is I'm extremely lucky for the partner that I have in life. I mean, when we found out we were pregnant and having our first, I was fully I walked away from scholarship level football just because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that 5 to midnight grind,
Hmm.
5 a.m. to and I wasn't going to be able to be the dad that I wanted to be. So I was fully prepared to, you know, put the old headset up on the wall and kind of go find a desk job and so I can come home and be a dad. And circumstances ended up working in my favor, and I found a really good job at the place I'm at now, and I'm able to go home and have those hours with my family. But I was to the original point, I was going to hang him up, and she said, "You need to do this. You need to go be a coach. You need to go work with these kids, whether it's on the highest level or the lowest level. You need to be doing this. This is who you are, and I'm not going to stop you to do that. You need to go do this." So, she kind of kicked me in the rear end and kind of said, "You need to put a headset on and you need to coach.
Well,
It's who you are." So,
after this, I want you to, thank her for kicking you in the ass for doing that because, like, yeah, it's like, you, Sturge, you guys are both, two of the best, football, offensive, positional minds I know, and I feel very comfortable saying that, and like, yeah, seeing a season where you guys aren't coaching is kind of weird to me, you know.
right,
So, like, I'm glad that she was able to, kind of kick you in the ass and be like, no, you're gonna fucking do this, sort of thing, you know.
right. And of course, I wasn't going to be like, "Oh no, so if she wants me to do it, yeah, I'm going to do it." But I honestly don't know. I don't know what it's like to not have a preseason. I don't
Uh,
know what it's like. I don't know what it's like to when August rolls around to go grind mode for 2.5 weeks and then push through a really long season and then immediately start recruiting for the next year. I don't know what it's like. I don't know if I'd be able to, function.
I'll, I'll,
With
I'll, I'll tell you right now, mind you, like, completely different levels, from, small Vermont football to where you were. It's fucking weird. It really is. Um, I mean, of course, you and me talk quite a bit, so when the shit happened for me, that first football season was really kind of weird for me.
right.
It's a weird, it's almost unsettling to an extent because you still kind of the people that are coaching or doing this, like especially for me, like in the town, like I knew the coaches, small town, I knew all the people around the town, they all knew me as a coach.
Mhm.
So when the season rolled around and they're like, hey, why aren't you at practice? And it's like, well, you see, it's just
Right, right.
it's a very weird and unsettling kind of not having football. I'll tell you that much.
But I mean, I'll tell you one thing. It's I used to get hung up with are you in the NFL? Are you a D1 guy? Are you a D2 guy? Are you a D3 guy? You're a high school guy? You're a prep guy?
Yeah.
Like it does at the end of the day, I've hit the gambit. I've got a lot of very close friends who are at the highest level,
Hmm.
whether it's college or at the professional leagues. I've got buddies who coach in the all a million arena leagues.
Yeah, exactly.
Football's football, and at the end of the day, and this is what people fail to realize when it comes to this coaching stuff. Like if you got some weight to your words, the X's and O's stuff is easy.
Hmm.
That's the easy stuff. I mean, all you got to do is study. I mean, and you'll naturally get better. But it's everything else that goes into the life, that goes into the what you're doing and your dedication to the kids. Because like I said earlier, you're not in this business to get paid, unless you're Nick Saban,
Yeah.
right? Making or Dabo making whatever it is, 20 million a year. Um, you know, you're doing this for a higher purpose or a higher reason, and it doesn't matter if you're coaching Pee Wee football or the NFL, or I've coached internationally with different countries, and it doesn't matter. It's all the same, and it's football, and it's impacting lives, and that's what matters.
Boom. So then going from what you were saying about, impacting lives and that sort of thing, now we're going to get into the second topic, which is life slash goal setting or setting. Interesting one. I was very intrigued when you said about this one.
Mm.
I was kind of wondering where this one will go. You know, so one of the things I first want to say was like kind of why was like for everyone out there that doesn't know, I let kind of the guests pick a few topics and everything. So this was one of the topics that Zudi here picked. So one of my questions is why was this one of the first things you kind of thought of that you'd want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, it's a mindset. It's all about what you want and what you think you need, and how you're going to go get it. Whether you want to be the an NFL coach, whether you want to be the world's best pastry maker or whatever. You I'm a very tangible person, and
Hmm.
that's why I love the sport that I'm in. Um, I don't care what it is. If there's a goal that I need to get to, it's just like in recruiting or in coaching or in anything, any facet. You want to lose weight, you set your goal, and you make take steps to get to those goals, and that's just we had an expression growing up that a couple of my buddies kind of adapted it. And if anybody knows me, they know who my father is, and what he's about. But we had a little expression: you got to have a little piss and vinegar about yourself, um, and that just goes into everything we do um, in life, and what I try to do, and how I set my goals. Um, I'm gonna have a little tact and tenacity, and achieve those goals. You either do it or you don't. Um, and it's all about how you set those goals and how you meet them. So
So like one of the things for me that's always been a tough one for like goal setting, for me is like short versus long. Like achievable versus like I'm gonna date Miley Cyrus. Like those sort
right,
of like that sort of shit. The tough one for me has always been the long term kind of like this is what I want to do
yeah,
because it always seems like you, something comes up as for fucking usual, right? Something comes up that knocks you off your path. For me, when it happens, I never feel like I can get back onto the path after that happens.
right,
Um, like that's the weird one for me. So like I've kind of stopped almost a long term goal setting. It's more very short term, like this month, next month, that sort of thing.
yeah, absolutely. But that's and for me, I those grand or grandiose goals that you want to set, like I don't know, say you're a young kid. By the time I'm 40, I want to be, or by the time I'm 30, I want to be a millionaire.
Hmm.
Whatever, it could be crazy. My big thing is I'm going to set little goals, daily goals, that then if I hit my daily goals 5 days in a row, guess what?
And
That's a
boom,
week.
yeah.
7 days in a row, that's a week. I string two of those together, that's 2 weeks. I string four of them, that's a month. Once you hit that, it's just easy rolling. Like I'll never forget when I was a couple years ago when we were when I got the courage to pluck up the courage and ask my now wife to marry me, and we decided on a date and everything. I was like, whew, getting a little big there, Coach Angelos. We need to start maybe get look trim and look slim in the suit. So I ended up dropping 40 pounds in 3.5 months. And it was, long story short, it came into calorie intake. I needed to burn more than I intaked. I capped myself at 1,500 a day, and I drank 120 ounces of water daily. And it started out with little things. It was like, can I drink four little 16-ounce bottles of water a day? Oh yeah, that's cool. That's not bad. Yeah, sure, I'm going to the bathroom, but I did it.
Yeah.
I piled that together for a couple of weeks, and then I started to notice that because I'm eating better and capping myself calorie wise, and I'm drinking all this water, after a couple of weeks, I started to notice I'm losing a pound and a half every other day or every 2 days, and then I strung it together, and by the time wedding rolled around, I was 40 pounds down from where I was. I was the heaviest I ever was.
Yeah.
That's the other thing they don't tell you in coaching is you tend to pack on the old lbs,
Oh boy.
um,
Yeah.
sitting at a desk and recruiting, and you're not as active with the crazy life that you live. And I definitely done that. So
Yeah. I was gonna say when I did a end of the year kind of channel review and everything for YouTube and on stream, and I don't know if you've seen it or not. It's on YouTube. I got like the suit jacket, right? I put that on for it. I'll tell you what, man. That's the same suit jacket that I wore to your wedding. When I wore it to your wedding, it looked good. When I wore it fucking a few months ago, boy, was that thing tough to get on and off.
hey, I'm
Um,
telling you, we're not young 19-year-olds anymore.
oh yeah,
We are
no,
young, fresh pups, man. It's where we could eat a whole large pizza and drink some beers on a Saturday night and then get up the next morning and go do a full lift. Now you eat a large pizza, I'm gaining 40 pounds, and I drink a beer, and that it looks like I'm smuggling tires underneath my t-shirt.
yeah,
We're
exactly.
getting we're not youngsters no more.
So how
So
so here's like because of course you know me very well. You know I'm a big worrier. I can't let shit go very easily. I kind of always hold on to stuff. How much do you like? How was your? Let me see. Let me try to find a way to fucking word this now. After trying to say it three times just barely. For you when you're goal setting, how much does that play into it? You know, kind of the worry, the shit, I didn't do this, and not letting that affect you.
yeah, well that's it, that's it right there, Colin. Is that's the mental battle you're gonna have to fight every day.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, do I wake up and go, damn, this ain't working, or say you want to stop smoking, right? Smoking your Marlboro Reds or your Newports, right? Damn, this is really frustrating. This is, I just wish I could just burn a dart right now. Blah blah blah, whatever it is. That's half the battle. Um, is it easy? No, but that's the part where you realize something after a while, that all these excuses and all these, oh, just this one time, I'm gonna have that cigarette just this Friday night or whatever it is. You're just making excuses. You just, at the end of the day, you really don't need that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need what you're trying to get rid of, and you got to remember that you're setting a goal for something.
Yeah.
Um, I'm getting sidetracked here, but your mentality is what it is. You gotta be mentally tough before you can physically be tough or physically do anything else. You gotta mentally get your mind right and get yourself there.
And like I think that's one of the big things that kind of derails a lot of people as well, especially with goal setting or weight loss or going to get that job or having the balls to go ask the pretty girl at the at the store out or any of those things, right? It's kind of that mentality and that like shit, like what if I can't do
Yeah,
this, I
I'll
can't do.
tell you. I'm sorry to cut you off
No,
there,
you're fine, you're
Greenwood,
fine.
but I'll tell you, when it comes to that stuff, like I joked earlier, like I've got a wife I got no business talking to. If anybody's seen a picture of her and me together, what the hell, right? At the end of the day, I'm gonna go up and talk to her. If she thinks I'm stupid, or she thinks I'm a loser, or thinks I'm a whatever, great. At least I said something. You know what I mean? At
Yeah.
the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I don't believe in like awkward situations, or I don't believe in, you know, anybody validating who I am by their opinion. At the end
Hmm.
of the day, I'm good in I'm resolute in my principles and who I am. You know what I mean? So if she turns me down, she turns me down. But I'm gonna go do it, right? Why not?
Makes
What's
sense.
the worst that happens? What's the worst that happens? She tells me to go pound sands and kick rocks. Cool.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
right back where I was before.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's so. I mean, that's it's one of those things. Like, especially like just the more you've gone over this, the more you've gone. It's I feel like goal setting, no matter whether it's short, long, big, small, it's a
Mm.
mentality. It's an attitude. It's something that you kind of have to get. Like, you know, it's like, hey, like I'm a big dick motherfucker, and this is how it's going to be now. Like that sort of thing.
It's exactly what it is because at the end of the day, it comes down to how bad do you want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We used to say that all the time, especially when Coach Sturgis and I, JT, everybody from at our college when we were chasing down championships. It's just how bad do you want it?
Exactly.
Do you want to talk about it? Do you want to just say, "Oh yeah, I want that championship," or "I want that girl," or "I want the six pack abs," "I want the this," "I want the that." Just how bad do you want it? Do you want it that bad? Because if you do, you're not going to make excuses. You're going to get up and go for that mile run in the snow or in the rain or the obviously you're not going to go out in a blizzard, but you get what I'm saying. How bad do you want your goal?
Exactly.
Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to stop smoking? Do you want to stop drinking? Do you want to? Because if you really don't want to stop drinking, you'll say you do, and you'll do your little 30-day no alcohol for me this next 30 days. If you really want to stop drinking, you'll stop
Yeah.
at the
Exactly.
end of the day.
I mean, it's one of those weird ones. Like, especially like when you say stuff like that, 'cause, like for instance, like I quit chewing. It's been I think almost 3 years, 4 years now, something like that. Just straight up,
Right,
just cold turkey. I'm done. But
right,
then it's one of those things where it's like it's like I'm not gonna have a soda. 2 weeks goes by and it's like I'm gonna have a fucking soda. It's
right.
that
That's
weird. No,
exactly what it is. And
it's
and I've done that's one big thing for me is cutting back what I put in my body as far as what I eat and drink. Um, I have to literally sometimes, like, in the gas station, stop by and grab a Pepsi, and I'd be like, you know what? Do you really need this Pepsi right now?
exactly.
And of course, and of course, the voice in the back of the head is, yeah, you do. You had a tough week. You kicked butt. You did blah blah blah. You give yourself this your little Pepsi or whatever you want. You
You
can
you des-
substitute a Pepsi for anything,
yeah,
right?
you deserve this. You've
Um,
had a tough week.
right.
Yeah,
You know what? Or say your teacher, that little Johnny was a pain in the butt this week. You know what you need? Go ahead and rip your Marlboro Reds. Like whatever you want to substitute, you can do that. But it's you just gotta. It's all about mental toughness
going
and how
from
bad you. So
going from one mental toughness to another. We now have the NFL Combine. One of those days true football fans fucking love because of its what a full week and a half almost of just kids being kids either gonna go first round or not be drafted depending kind of on this week
right.
for a lot of these
I
guys.
love it. It's just talking shop. That's all it is. It's
Yeah,
talking shop. We're talking ball. That's all I get. Whether I've got no what's the expression? No money in the bet or whatever on any of these kids or if I think they're going to be the next great Tom Brady or whatever. I just love people getting around and talking ball. Is this kid going to be good? Look how he throws. Look how this kid catches. Look how this kid drops. Ooh, his 40's great. Blah blah blah. I love. It's just football.
yeah.
It's talking shop.
So I got a few notes here. I know you got a few notes. So I'll do like two and then I'll let you do like two. How about that?
Hmm. Go for it.
All right. So the first thing, of course, I'm going to start off with Nebraska. How about that? Shocking.
Of course.
So
Oh, hey,
Nebraska.
by the way, dude, I rock that Huskers hat that you gave me
Oh, you do?
quite a lot at the gym to the point where some kid yelled go Big Red or something
Yeah,
like
go
that at the
Big
gym.
Red. There we go. That's
Had
fucking
no
awesome.
did not register in my brain. I thought he was like calling me a name or something, but anyway.
That's fucking awesome. So apparently, I'm a fucking Cornhusker fan. I didn't even know this. Apparently, we have brother D tackles, Carlos and Khalil Davis. Um, they basically did the exact same thing at the combine this weekend. So Carlos ran a 4.89, Khalil ran a 4.75.
D tackles.
D tackles. Carlos had
Uh,
27 reps. Khalil had 32 reps.
do the people who tune in know anything about 40 times and how fast a 4.7? Like
There's a few people in here do. A few people probably don't. Like it's one of like yeah. I saw 4.75 for Khalil and I was like, oh my god. Like
Jesus.
yeah. Um, but I wanted to give those two guys a shout out because they're Nebraska D tackles and those numbers are nuts. And the fact that they're brothers and it's like 5 reps and like 10 seconds apart is kind of really weird to me.
That's called hitting the gene lottery right there. You can't teach that, Colin.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
that's
That comes straight from the balls.
that's
Um,
that's God given, baby. Just like Movie Miles said.
then the next thing I have, and you're gonna like this because this hits on a point of your positional knowledge. Um, C.D. Lamb and Jerry Judy are just fucking incredible.
They're on another level, dude. I got a
It's
I got a whole breakdown if you want to go to on what I think or who I think are the top five receivers, but these guys,
I
CeeDee
saw.
Lamb and Jerry Judy are on another planet. And I think I think guys like Ruggs and Jefferson's too,
Hmm.
or Jefferson. You can plug those four in and immediately just be impact players
The
this year. This receiving
It's
this
ridiculous.
receiving group this year. I mean, you also got KJ Hill, who's probably one of the best route runners, right next to Jerry Judy. Um, and then the kid from I can't say his name from Arizona State, Ayuko.
Oh, okay, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, just pure. I've also got a hidden gem in the receiving core that I don't think anybody really paid attention to that I saw. He had a great combine. Um, he's a kid from Rhode Island, Isaiah Coulter.
Oh, okay,
Coulter.
yeah. I remember seeing something about him
He's
being invited.
like the way he tracks the ball over the head. And I don't know if a lot of people are going to get the lingo that I throw out here, but the way he tracks the ball, he just naturally flips his hands. It's just he invites the ball. He doesn't fight it. This kid, and he popped I think it was like a 4.46, which for those of you keeping track at home is that will get you a camp invite alone,
Yeah, guaranteed.
whether you can catch the ball or not. See, what people don't understand is that catching the ball is the easy part as a receiver. It's all the other things.
Hmm.
Um, Blocking, running, being a great route runner,
Knowledge.
attacking space. It's just this kid. I actually I'm a big fan of. The other kid I thought was pretty impressive was Claypool from Notre Dame. I think that's how you say his name. Um,
He's a bigger guy, isn't he?
he's on the he had the blonde tipped hair or whatever. He's when he ran through the gauntlet, he's a natural. He tracks the ball real well. Ball is very light in his hands. Like he doesn't make a loud smack noise. Sorry if that ruined the speakers or anything, but
You're fine.
he, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He invites the ball. It's all fingertip stuff, um, and that's what I think scouts are looking at. You get invited to the combine. Everybody knows you're a dude. There's
Hmm.
no hiding that. Very few people get these kind of invites, and these scouts know that, right? They
Yeah.
know that everybody here is probably going to get on a team somewhere, um, and get drafted, but they just want to they want to see what he looks like in person. They want to see the body or pass the what they call the look test. They want to see what he physically. Who was the kid last year from Seattle? Metcalf,
Oh
who
yeah,
got
DK.
drafted.
Yeah, yeah,
Great combine and looked like a specimen. You
yeah.
know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? He's passing the look test, but I'm going on a rant here about receivers because this is what I love. This is what I do. But Jerry Judy
Send
and
it, man.
CeeDee Lamb, these kids are they're top 10 picks and they'll make an immediate impact. I think.
I see. Like because I've only seen a little bit of the combine. I wrote down a lot of my notes from today from re-looking at stuff. But I like flipped on Instagram before I went to bed last night, and I saw one of CD Lamb. Like he was running, it looked like he may have been running a corner, and the guy threw it, and he up in the air, full 360, like 180 turn, grabbed it, full down, both feet tiptoeing in bounds, like just and made it look effortless.
Yeah, that's just
And like I'm
and the
watching that, and it's just like, are you fucking kidding me? Meanwhile, Jerry Judy's literally standing there on the sidelines, like watching him do it, like clapping, like full on, like that's my dude. Like,
well
and it's like,
the thing right. And the thing you realize about guys like Judy, Ruggs, CD Lamb, Jefferson is like when they go up and get a ball that's not a perfect bucket ball, where they can plant off their front foot, flip their hips, shelf a ball, which is going up high and ripping it off the top shelf and putting it away. That's the stuff that you can't really you rep it in Indy all the time. I used to do it with my boys, but like that's the stuff that kind of gives you that extra check. It gives you
yeah,
in this life gives these kids an extra $1 million because they're first rounders.
exactly. Now for everyone out there that's been listening to the different 40 times that we've thrown out there today, Clemson linebacker Isaiah Simmons,
Four
4.39,
4-3, right? Did you see
4.39.
that he beat Etienne, their running back at Clemson?
Yep,
Now he's a bona fide NFL running back when that time comes, and he's smoking him.
yeah,
He gave our
it's
boy Burrow some fits early on in the national championship too.
I just
Freak of nature.
I
This
couldn't.
is this, and I hesitate to say this because I think he's this kind of special. Like he's an immediate impact on your defense. He's a show up and be a JJ Watt type of dude. I don't think he's going to be revolutionizing the game like LT did, but you can't pass this kid up.
Oh yeah, no, I
If
mean
you have
he's
the option to get this kid,
yeah, he's gonna be one of those guys where he comes in and like the coaches are expecting him like, look, like we're expecting you to either fight for this spot or like starting spot, or you have the starting spot, don't fuck up.
well, you just got to hope that and obviously Dabo is one of my favorite coaches of all time. I love what he preaches in his message and the type of program he runs. If you're able to start for Dabo, you probably know your football, but that's the big key. That's the kind of with a guy like that, you know he's got the intangibles to win and get on the field.
Yeah,
You're just hoping
exactly.
that he's smart enough to figure it out. But
So I got AJ Espenza. I think I'm saying that right. DN from
yep.
Iowa. I don't know if you've seen anything of him or heard anything of him. Just a solid, gritty, kind of Iowa D end. Ran like a 5 something 40, and his reaction time on all the drills was just absolutely terrible. Like I don't have a whole lot of negatives right here. This one is like
Yeah,
a glaring negative because behind Chase Young, this is the number 2 guy, and
right.
his 40 was
Well,
slow and his reaction time slow, which are the two things that like as a DN like kind of want to have a decently good 40, and we want to have reaction time needs to be fucking up there.
right. And that's all that, and because you know how to look for it. But and that's all great. But it goes back to what I said before with if you're at this combine, you already have you got a foot flirting with putting through the door.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I mean? This reminds me of Jake Fromm. Like didn't have the greatest combine, didn't throw real well,
Yep, I
had
have
a
that
pretty
written.
embarrassing
I'm glad you're
two hot
saying that because
balls in the
I got that written down two down from that last one I just said. So I'm glad you're bringing this up.
right, but like that's the other people. You got to remember he's two SEC championship
Hmm.
games, a college playoff finalist, national championship as a freshman. The kid knows how to get it done. And
Exactly.
sure, he doesn't have a big time arm, but like if you're gonna sit there and base your now Fromm isn't your first round undeniable first round number one overall pick, but if you're gonna cut him out for
For a
one
little,
bad day
exactly.
at a combine when in all actuality the kid can spin it and can throw it. Every quarterback at this combine can spin it and can throw it and is able to do some special things. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You got to take it with a grain of salt because
Well,
you
it's kind
also
of
get the guys who
well,
right. Well,
it kind of goes
you
back
also
to
get the
like
guys who yeah.
Orlando Brown Jr. 2 years ago. Remember
Hmm.
the 40? Remember the like combine day that he had,
Right.
and now he's the Ravens starting
Well,
right tackle and fucking dominating most of the league. So it's like
right. And then you have the guys on the other end who just go out and crush it, and you're like, this kid's great, i.e. Trent Richardson,
Hmm.
um, and he goes to the AAF and the Canadian League, and I'm getting on a tangent that I don't mean to badmouth anybody, but you have got you got to take your results of the combine with a grain of salt.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things. Like, I don't think it's really like attacking or insulting anyone. It's just like a lot of people put so much effort into like, oh my god, like his hand size is so small, and like you see like Joe Burrow's being like, oh well, I guess I have tiny hands, I should retire, you know, like it's just like him just basically saying fuck you guys. Like I play ball, I do well, like fuck you, you know.
Yeah, I don't put a lot of stock in a lot of the thing. I think of everybody's a quarterback guru and everybody
Hmm.
knows something about quarterback and that somebody else doesn't know. Like they pick apart his drop back, they pick apart his throwing motion, they pick apart anything and everything, right?
Yeah,
Like Ben Roethlisberger, he's too fat. Jarvis Landry at Dallas in at the XFL looks like Roethlisberger right now. But look, all that matters when it comes to playing quarterback is, are you efficient? Are you on time? And do you get the ball out? I don't care if you throw the a Kurt Warner duck ball. Um, Fun fact: Kurt Warner never throws spirals. Like, it doesn't matter if you're on time and you're efficient and you get the job done. I don't care if you do a cartwheel in your three-step drop.
exactly.
If you're completing balls, you're completing balls.
Exactly. I mean, like,
You know.
like that's the thing is like, there's like a lot of the stats. Like, of course, like for me, like I look at a lot of them. Like D tackles running 40s. Like it's just that's just a freak thing, and that's just kind of fun to watch for me. You know,
Right.
like
Is a D
quarter.
tackle ever running 40 yards
Yeah,
ever?
if he is, something is terribly wrong. You know,
Right.
um, like
Right.
my thing is like a lot of like the positional things. That's why I brought up the reaction time because like some of the positional stuff that they do, I feel like that has more credence, you know, well, especially for like, of course it's a little bit different with, quarterbacks doing their drops and throwing the ball because but like
Absolutely.
a D end going through a basic, movement drill. It's kind of
Right.
a basic fucking thing that all of them should do. And if it's like you're the number two guy and it's like your reaction time is really slow and you're like moving the wrong way when the coach points to a different direction, it's like, oh, fuck,
Yeah.
you
They're
know?
checking. I mean, and these guys know, and the guys who run these drills,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
kind of they know what they're doing. I mean, you're looking for obvious things. Is he explosive? Is he a D end? Is he a D tackle? Sure, it's great that he runs a whatever, a 4.7,
Yeah.
whatever we said, right? But is he explosive? Does he have great hips? Can he flip those hips? I felt like, because I did something similar. I don't want to take zero. I'm taking zero credit by any means. I'm not smart enough or clever enough to do this. Do Staley's running back drill. Did you see that in the combine?
I saw something about it, but I didn't actually see it.
So practical. So it gives your ability to maneuver over bags, start and stop,
Okay.
and generate force and power, and then make a quick decision and a read and a cut. Um, Translates 100% to the game, and that's what you love to see, because I don't want to go out here and see, like, when you watch the quarterback drills and the receivers drills, and the first one that they do is the bombs over Baghdad
Oh
throw.
Jesus, yeah,
And
I've.
people who don't know anything are sitting there going, "Oh, that's a horrible throw. That's a this he did a bad throw." And I'm like, "Well, one, it's not for the quarterbacks. They're just out here being a camp arm. Two, you're here to see how the guy tracks a ball, and how he can take a ball from his left shoulder and then correct it and put it over on his right shoulder and use his body to protect himself from a DB. Like,
Also, you're
there's
getting
reasons they
like,
do these drills.
you're getting guys, for instance, just throwing out there like Jordan Love throwing to C.D. Lamb. Those two motherfuckers have never thrown before. He doesn't know how fast he knows how fast he is, but he doesn't know where he's going to be on what. You know, it's not like you have a guy that you've been working with all season that you're throwing to. That's why for me, especially a lot of the like quarterback stuff, I'd rather wait for their pro day.
Right, 1,000%. And I'm glad you brought him up. Is Love from, where's he? Utah State, right?
Yeah, Utah State.
Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So Love is throwing balls in the stands pretty much, like, made some bad throws.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing: is like back to the original argument is he's here for a reason. They know that he can zing it. They know he can throw. They're going to see they're going to see him at his pro day. They're going to see everybody else. They're going to see Jake Fromm at their pro day, and my hidden gem Eason. They're going to see him at their pro days. Like it's okay that they screwed up a little bit. They know you can throw. They know you like your NFL caliber arms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They know you can do that, and it's okay that you're working with CD Lamb, probably the best receiver he's ever thrown to.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean? And
100%.
he's probably coming out of his break a whole lot quicker than anybody at Utah State used to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's efficient in his route running. So like there is a little bit of give and take here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. D tackle from Oklahoma. He weighs 304 pounds and he ran a 4.79. Just another freak moment, sort of one. Just D tackles in
That's
this
just
draft, man. It just
people that big aren't supposed to run that fast.
no, they're not.
That's not allowed.
And that brings up the next one. Okay, Tristan Wirf, the offensive tackle from Iowa. Did you see anything about this guy?
Listen, if there's an offensive lineman from Iowa, I just assume he's going to be good. Or a
Just,
tight end
just,
from Iowa.
just wait
If
to
you put your hand in the dirt,
just
yeah.
wait, just wait. 6'5", 320. 36.5 vertical, 10.1 broad. He ran a 4.85.
That's not right. You see, but this is the type of football players are the biggest freaks of nature, probably next to basketball players. Like that body's not supposed to move that efficiently up, out, or fast. Like he's not supposed to jump that high. He's not supposed to jump that far, and he damn sure ain't supposed to run that fast.
Exactly. Two just ones that just it says it looks incredible and fuck next to it is Justin Herbert, the quarterback from Oregon, and John Taylor, the running back from Wisconsin. Those guys are just
John Taylor is a dude. Mark my words, dude.
yeah,
He's not gonna get. He's not gonna. I think he's gonna get snuffed a little bit, but he is a dude. Now, the thing with our boy from Oregon, old Justin Herbert here, and I'm gonna go against everything that I always say. He's never taken a snap in college under center.
true.
Now he looked good. He was able to rip away from the center and take some drops very smoothly, and threw the ball and looked great. But it's just to play
It's
devil's
that
advocate.
yeah,
You,
it's
you
that
hear
tough
those.
one. I mean, it's the same thing with like golf. Remember that was always one of the things that they talked about with golf was that he just never went under center. And I remember the beautiful thing from All or Nothing, where their quarterbacks coach was like, "Well, just shove your ass, just right up, put your hands right up his ass, because like that's
Yeah,
where the. And it was just like it was one of those things where like I remember seeing that. But the thing I'll say though is I think because that's one of the most frequent, most recent ones that I can remember is I think
right.
Herbert is 10 times the athlete that golf ever will be.
Yeah, he can scoot and he's very athletic. I remember me saying way back when we were talking about the quarterbacks,
Mm,
he's on time and he's in rhythm when he
yeah.
throws, which is you know a lot of people didn't think much of Goff when he was coming out. Mariota either. Um, just shows how much. Again, give him a shot. If he gets a shot, I'm sure he'll take it. These top 4 or 5 guys, I think are going to be all right.
Oh yeah. So then the last two here are one of them is a bad moment mixed with a good moment. The other one is just a bad moment. Trey Adams, the offensive tackle from Wisconsin,
Hmm.
he ran a 5.6 40.
Yep.
They asked him if he could change one thing about himself, what would it be? And after awkwardly thinking about it for a moment, he said, "I guess it would be a bigger dick."
Mm, that's going to hurt. It'll go great on the Barstool interview, but
that's where I saw it was off of Barstool. So
that sounds like something like what's his name in Tennessee would say. Lewin,
oh
that
yeah,
O line.
yeah, Taylor Long,
He's
yeah,
he's cut from that same cloth. Listen, I don't care what he runs as an offensive lineman.
yeah. No, I don't. I
I just
just
care if he's I care if he's explosive and he can move laterally.
I just loved the, it's like if you could change one thing, like it was such an awkward, like he awkwardly paused and he was looking around, like trying to think of like what he was gonna say, and then he just goes, I guess a bigger dick, like,
Yeah, that's gonna hurt on the old Wonderlic maturity scale for him, but
oh, 100%, but
hey,
at least he's honest. Um, and then the last one, this one is just, this is a really like a weird one for me. Tristan Colon Castillo, offensive lineman from Missouri. His redshirt year, he was listed as the lifter of the year.
ooh,
He had 11 reps. I'm
yeah,
confused.
I couldn't hear you. You cut out on that one.
Oh, I did,
Again.
okay. So he got lifter of the year.
Yep,
His redshirt season,
yep.
he had 11 reps of the combine.
So
I'm confused.
something something went wrong there.
Yeah, I'm confused by the whole thing because it's like his whole bio was saying about like how he's strong and aggressive and this and that. He won the lifter of the year as a red shirt. So I'm sitting there like, okay, cool. This dude probably put up like 30 then. Nope, he put up 11.
Yeah, they still doing 225 as many times as you can go.
Yep,
Is that the benchmark?
yep.
Yeah, it's probably not that good.
No, probably not. I went because it's one of the ones I always look for is just to see who has the like the lowest bench for the big guys, and he was the lowest by almost 10 reps. Um, but it was just the fact that he won the lifter of the year award is the part
Hey,
of the.
maybe it meant something else. Most improved, I don't.
Yeah, that's
I'm
the thing
trying
is
to
like
find something good to say here.
I don't know. Those were my combine notes anyway. So
Right.
anything I miss in that?
Listen, the only thing that I want to mention that I don't think he's getting enough love, one because he got supplanted in Georgia, is Eason. Hidden
Okay,
gem. He's gonna go somewhere. He's gonna go mid, maybe late to some. I'm hoping he goes to like the Patriots or something, or New Orleans or something like that, where he can just sit behind somebody for a while. This kid, the ball comes off his hand. He's got a big boy arm, and he's fairly athletic. Um, and the other guy I've always been a fan of just for who he is and how he plays. And I don't think he gets a lot of love because he's not your stereotypical quarterback as Jalen Hurts. Um,
okay.
I realize what he is and what he can and can't do, but
I
he
completely agree with you.
he's
I like Hertz.
love Hurts. His 40 was impressive. The kid
I just
can squat 1,000,000 pounds.
I felt like he was impressive. Just his entire like day was impressive.
Right.
You
I
know,
think I think he can be on somebody's team and do something for somebody in some capacity, and you'd be a fool not to put him on your roster. Is
true,
how I feel about him.
true. I completely agree with that. So last one. My dad is apparently now a huge fan of Cole McDonald, the quarterback from Hawaii.
Yep.
My dad is a huge fan.
Yeah, it reminds me of you being a big fan of a certain Hawaii quarterback way back in the day.
Well, that was
I
the
don't know if
thing
the
is
folks
like
know that.
Cole Brennan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My dad. Well, my dad said that wasn't this the guy that's like kind of like the one that you liked, like that sort of thing. I was like, no. I was like, this guy's a completely different animal than the guy that I liked. But yeah, um, just kind of
He's the
funny.
kid with
Just
like dreads, right? He's
yeah,
got
he's
like
yeah
dreadlocks.
dreads. He ran a 4.58. Like
Yeah.
you know, I'm intrigued to see what happens with someone like him. I said to my dad, I was like, I could see him being a great XFL guy.
Yeah, well, that's like being the world's tallest midget. Don't
Yeah.
really mean a whole lot.
Well, I mean, now that we say that, now let's move into the XFL.
That's a
Who
good transition.
you like that? I tried. Um,
I like,
my first question: Who's your team?
well, yeah, you were a part of our big, we had a big, for the people at home keeping track, we had a big group text message chain going on who was picking who, and we didn't know anything about the rosters. We knew very little, put it to you that way. We knew some names, and I ended up, and I regret it so much. I ended up going with the New York Guardians
Oh,
because of my boy McGloin. who is no longer their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Because I was a big fan of him at Penn State, how he walked on and everything, and had a halfway decent career as an NFL guy. So I chose um, New York, and whew, man,
I,
that's tough ball to watch.
I remember Sturge sending me the message. My phone died the night that you
Yeah,
guys did that. I went to bed early. My phone died. So I woke up the next
yeah,
morning and I just straight up, I was just like, I'm a Battlehawks fan. And Sturge was like, no, you're not. Carrie's a Battlehawks fan. I was
dude.
like, no.
Hey,
I was like, I've been a fan of theirs since the draft. I was like, you can ask. I was like, go ask Zudi. I was telling him I was watching the draft, and there was a team.
yeah,
And when the Wildcats, every pick was wow after every single fucking pick that they made.
yeah. Tamu's playing well for them, and
I like
that's
it.
actually my wife's favorite team. She chose them because of their colors,
She's
and their
got great
logo,
taste.
which are good looking. So we'll give her that. But she's her team is doing a whole lot better than my team. That's for sure.
Well, let's start with your team because it was the first week game of the weekend. We have the LA Wildcats taking on the New York Guardians. It was 14-17, Guardians winning. Um,
Yep.
one of the first things I noticed watching the game was number 90 from LA, Roderick Henderson. He's a fucking animal. He was in the backfield
Massive.
probably
He's a
70 times.
massive player.
70% of the time he was in the backfield.
Yep.
Just unreal.
Yeah, he looks like a Mini Cooper too.
Exactly. I wrote down New York needs a quarterback, needs to find a quarterback, and then I think within
Yep.
20 minutes of writing that, you sent me something about how Louis Perez was playing real well. So I just wrote
Dude,
Perez
that's my
question mark.
guy.
Now
So
wasn't he was I was gonna say I forgot what team he was, but wasn't he a part of one of the good AAF teams?
yeah, so this is why Louis Perez's story is pretty great. So he never played, didn't play high school, I think, and then went to a JUCO, and then got on at Texas A&M Commerce D2 school, right? Ends up winning a national championship and become like the equivalent of the D2 Heisman, right? Gets a camp invite for I think the LA Rams, and then the AAF comes along. He becomes the quarterback for the Birmingham Iron. That's where I saw him. Liked him. I guess there's some story out there that he looked up YouTube videos on how to play quarterback.
Yeah, I've been seeing a
Apparently,
lot
he
of
clicked
that.
on the right ones, and I did not. And but he struggled this weekend, but he got his first nod. He used to be on LA. He got traded to the Guardians, so that kind of gave me hope for the team. But I'm all about this guy. I love his story. I hope he, is a Kurt Warner like arena guy, bagging groceries, and then wins a Super Bowl.
I would love it.
That's what I'm a big fan of this dude
I would love it.
because what's pushing this league is, do you got elite, and well, I shouldn't say elite. Do you have an NFL quarterback?
Yeah.
And the teams that do are winning.
And it's one of those things that's funny as well because, like I said to Sturge, 2 weeks ago, I said to him, if you look at the XFL when it first started, you see Josh Johnson, you see Landry Jones, you see Cardell Jones, and you're like, there you go, there's the face of the XFL. That's kind of those are the guys that everyone knows. Those are the guys that will lead the league to being popular. And then it's like it's 4 weeks in now, and the like Cardo Jones is still kind of a name. After tonight, I don't know if he will be. I'm watching the game live right now. Jesus.
Right.
But Tamu and PJ Walker, that's the face of the fucking XFL right now. You know.
Right.
Um,
Well, Tamu and Walker were both camp guys, and they're both
mhm,
like Tamu. I think was on Houston and was like their third stringer or their practice squad guy. Like he had a successful career at Ole Miss when they were going through all that stuff.
true.
But Tamu
Um,
and Walker, they can do some things. They'll get camp invites, and they will not be in the XFL.
my favorite moment of the weekend so far is Askew Henry throwing the flag back at the ref. Um,
Yeah, that's a big no-no. I saw
That
that.
that was fucking hilarious, man. I fucking loved it. The ref threw the flag at him. It landed right in his lap, like in his hand, and he
Right,
just
hit him
looked
in
at
the
it and
chest.
he just threw it right back at the ref. Like fucking
Yeah,
funniest moment of the weekend.
that
Um,
was Vince McMahon 2001 stuff right there.
oh, 100%. 100%. And then the last thing I had was number 91 for New York, Jarrell Owens played so well, and that's probably one of the reasons why it was 7. Like they only put up 14. This dude was all over the field. He blocked a field goal, big sacks at the right times. Just great player.
Yeah, it's just how bad you want it. They're trying to get to the next level, and and some guys are willing to lay it all out and do what they need to do to get another camp invite. Um,
Exactly. I love.
I saw this thing. Speaking of what I just said with like trying to get to the next level,
Mhm.
I saw this funny meme on Facebook where it was like the champion of the XFL should play the
Mhm.
worst team in the NFL after the season.
And if they win,
Loser
yeah.
stays, loser gets relegated, winner gets promoted to the NFL. I think that'd be hilarious, like they do in soccer,
Oh my
like in
God,
England.
that'd be so funny. I mean,
That'd be awesome.
there'd be so much bullshit that would happen with that as well. You know,
Right.
my team isn't
I know
that
that's
my team isn't that bad. Your team's in the fucking XFL now.
right, right, right. Yeah, like could you imagine like a Bengals fan being like, "Oh, damn,
Oh my
they're
God.
playing in the spring this year. Oh,
um,
they're not even in the NFL."
so then the second game of the weekend was St. Louis Battlehawks versus Seattle Dragons. It was 23-17 Battlehawks. Tamu to Des Moines personnel is fucking awesome to watch. Des Moines personnel, of course, Nebraska wide receiver, so I love that anyway. Um, but I mean, I just watching those two playing together is just so great. It's college football through and through.
They got well. That's right there is what you just said. There's some elements of college ball that I love
Hmm.
about the XFL. I mean, you've got Hal Mummy in there and throwing some air raid stuff. Like the Dallas ran mesh 5 straight plays in a
Oh my
row,
God, it was fucking incredible watching it as well.
and you just I love that stuff. That's
It
my brand
worked.
of
It
ball.
worked. It worked. It worked. It
There's
worked.
there's some stuff that doesn't necessarily, I don't know, for lack of a better term, translate to the NFL. But
Was one
I'm
of
a
the things
football.
I
This scratches the itch, man.
I think you would love it. Sturge, I think Sturge said that he would love to see a team. He would love to see a new team come into the XFL and then run the veer.
Right? Just get some.
Like,
Oh man,
could you fucking imagine that? Just get some team running the veer and running like a 3-3-5 defense. Just some bullshit
sticking
like that.
Coach
Just
Johnson, Veer,
yeah, just
Georgia Tech, Georgia Southern, Navy, Army stuff
oh
going
my
in there.
God, it would be beautiful. It'd be so fun to watch. Um,
Yeah, that would make Coach. I'm not surprised Coach Sturgis just said that
oh yeah.
because that's his MO. If anybody knows Coach Sturgis, that's where you build from the ground up right there with that.
I have to say I love the St. Louis offense. Um, like it just shotgun and we're just gonna punch you in the face and run the ball. Does that sound familiar? It's from college days, a little bit. Just
Yeah, I mean they're fun to watch. That's definitely. I mean, we were we were very good players and we ran simple things that people couldn't stop, and that was how we did it. We ran the ball, we ran it some more, and then when running the ball didn't work, we ran the ball some more,
yeah.
and then we ran the ball some more, and then we threw the ball to fatten them up, and then we scored touchdowns.
I remember I forgot what game it is was. You might remember. I just remember us getting in bone because we were down in the goal line and it was working, and I just remember Rose just like going no huddle bone for like an entire drive, and we got like from like the goal backed up in our goal line out to like maybe the 50 or the positive 40, just running bone. Like it was just like
Yeah,
fuck
that
you
was
guys.
led by Coach Sturgis right there. We were in 32 personnel. For those of you at home keeping score, that's three running backs and two tight ends and zero wide receivers. Anybody who knows how to catch the ball was not in on that series, and we ran the ball till the cows came home,
Yeah.
and it worked.
It was just beautiful watching it. I mean, one of the big things I wrote down is what is Seattle's offense? It looked fucking terrible until BJ Daniels came in.
Well, again, BJ spent a couple of times. He was from UAB, right? He
Hmm.
spent some time in the NFL. I couldn't get past them, and Tampa Bay's uniforms confuse me, but I will tell you one guy, um, and I'm gonna ruin his name, Renfro, right? Does that sound? No, that's
Oh
the kid
no,
from Clemson.
yeah, Ken. I think
Ricky
it's
Prohl's kid.
yeah. Fuck.
Hunter Prohl? Love him.
Yeah,
Prohl.
Pro. Yeah, Austin Pro.
Great little route runner.
Yeah, 100% agree. I just I as well. One of the big things is I think that of course, with this not being to the same level, I think that they kind of weren't ready for a mobile quarterback after seeing the difference between BJ Daniels and I think it's Brandon Silvers.
Yeah,
He's
another Temple guy.
yeah,
Yeah, they're
just like
two different dudes.
I like that's one of the
That's
reasons why
what
I
you need
felt
to do.
like yeah, I mean it was a good switch. It was a great switch up, but like Seattle, I mean, say St. Louis kind of I'm not gonna lie, they looked a little bit shell shocked when he came in and he was just doing his thing, you know. Which just comes down to I think just a switch of mindset, like fuck now we got to do this, you know. Um,
Right.
and then I wrote we run the ball because like I said I love that. I love the fact that they're in gun and they're just gonna run the ball at you and they're gonna run the ball at you and it's 3rd and 10. Okay, we're gonna run the ball at you. It's just
There's something to be said that you do it. If it ain't broken, it don't fix it. Do
exactly.
it till they stop it.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing is like,
It's all about dictating the box, and if you've got numbers, let's run it. If you don't, let's throw it. I
yeah,
mean, that's what it. If you boil it down to its simplest rules in your decision making, it's do you have numbers? I got the
exactly.
numbers, I'm going to run the ball. I don't got the numbers, I'm going to have to throw the ball. And
When
I'm going to try different ways to dictate the box.
yeah,
Dictate. No.
and going back on that, the next game we have is Houston Roughnecks versus Dallas Renegades. The Roughnecks winning 27-20, really close game. Fucking Dallas was just like you said earlier. Dallas ran mesh 5 times in a row. It worked. Keep
Yeah, man.
fucking running it.
Just, they're just shooting for man coverage or zone, and either way, and that's Hal Mummy staple right there. It doesn't matter if you're in man or you're in zone. They've got an answer for it. Um, Landry Jones, man, he's been spending too much time with Ben Roethlisberger, looking at those little chicken legs and that big old body of his.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
He was smuggling a couple tires there, man. He
Yeah.
even dropped back and looked. His mannerisms looked like Ben Roethlisberger.
Well, I like one of the things I wrote down was that I wrote Landry Jones okay or just shit luck today, and it's
With the knee thing, yeah,
well,
he
just with
had one of those.
everything, just kind of like it's like he just doesn't look good. And it's one of those things that like
It's a labor. He's laboring trying to move. It looks like, but
yeah.
again, I
Artist
don't want to
Payne.
read up.
Speaking of someone that does look good, their fucking running back, Artist Payne for the Renegades. Fuck me, he looks good.
Yeah, well, he's a short little thick guy. You try wrapping up those legs, you're gonna take one in the jaw.
Yeah, exactly. Three first quarter picks, and there were no points. June Jones was furious about that. I would be too. Um, I think this was the sloppiest game that I've seen so far from Houston, offensively.
But yeah. Well, in the beginning, old PJ was doing what he did at Temple, running around and creating plays and everything. But old buddy in Dallas, the safety, I forget his name, who absolutely baited him on that pick
Oh yeah.
was. And if I could, I would. And this is the coach talking. The sky cam views. I wish I
Hmm.
could watch it in sky cam like that because you're getting a tight version of the film. You could see everything. You could see the box, you could see the field, you could see what the quarterback's looking at. I love that. I go on YouTube all the time and just type in college football sky cam
Just
games
just
and
see what
see
you
what
can
I can.
find.
Oh, it's
That's
awesome.
awesome. Um, I one of the things I was wondering is, do you think that because now, of course, first few weeks nobody knows what anyone's doing. We're 4 weeks in now. Teams are starting to figure out shit.
Well, yeah, and then that's just ball though. I mean, you're offensive coordinators, whether you're in the XFL or the NFL or high school ball, like if you're in a coordinating position, you're getting paid for that for a reason. Like these guys know how to watch film and they know how to, they're gonna
Hmm.
figure you out. They're gonna like I heard this thing, and I don't mean to go off topic, but I
Good.
heard because they're trying to build up for Joe Burrow that they're just giving him after like week 2 or 3, he was getting nothing but 5-man protections at LSU, right?
Yeah.
So defensive coordinators obviously watch film. They're gonna start dialing stuff up against 5-man pressures, right, and bring in a little bit more, maybe sacrificing in coverage, but bringing more than they can handle, and hoping that Joe Burrow couldn't figure it out. But like that's what you get.
Hmm.
These coordinators are gonna do stuff like that. They're gonna watch and figure out what PJ Walker's doing as opposed to what Seavers or whatever in Seattle's doing, and where New York's got it going is we don't even know who's going to be playing quarterback next week. So good luck figuring that out.
Yeah, right. Well, like, and that's kind of one of the things going into the game that's on right now. Kind of a big one. I feel for like that topic of it's like have teams been figured out and like that sort of thing. Like you get a team like DC, who right
Yeah,
now it's 22-0 Vipers.
right,
You know.
right. And the Vipers were supposed to be Aaron Murray led. You
hmm
know what I mean? And they're not. I don't even know where this guy's from, number
I,
four.
I have
Who?
I have no idea where Cornelius is from. All I know is that last week was the first week that Mark Trestman wasn't calling plays. They actually let their offense coordinator call plays.
Hey, he got a lot of flack being in Chicago, but Mark Trestman when he was in
We was in Baltimore for a little bit.
when he well but he made his bones in Canada with the Montreal Alouettes, just
Yep,
winning Grey Cup after
I
Grey
do
Cup,
remember that
and
now.
big time dude up there. But that's a different ball game. You got an extra man. You got a 150-yard field with the width of a rugby pitch. So
Well,
you're dealing.
I just found it interesting that kind of like it looks like there was almost nothing going on offensively with Trestman calling the plays, and then the OC actually starts calling plays, and now they're obviously they like unless something ridiculous happens and they lose this game, they're beating DC tonight. And last week they looked really good too offensively.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the head coach's prerogative.
hmm
Me being in a coordinating position now, I understand that like if you get overruled and say I'm calling these plays or we're running this type of offense, you're doing that or
Yeah,
you're not going to have that title anymore. So that I mean,
of course.
that happens. I'm
Um,
glad that OC is looking good and making his bones for his title. So that's good.
Oh yeah. The one thing I will say is that DC looks like their offense looks exposed. It just looks like like everyone knows what they're going to do before they do it. And Tampa's defense, they were talking to the DC, and he said, "I'm going to blitz. If we play 50 plays, we're going to blitz 49 of them."
There you go.
Fucking love it. It's
You
just
and that's something that DCs do is I'm going to bring more than you got, and hopefully we can get to you before you can get the ball off. And
exactly.
that's
It was one of the things that like pissed me off during the year whenever teams were talking about like Baltimore and like, oh, well, they blitz because they have to do this and that, and I'm saying that like, no, we blitz because that's who we fucking are. You know,
right.
like we're gonna hide stuff. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna just come after you with more than you have. Fuck you. You know.
You're gonna get a team that you're gonna bring 4 or 5 men, sometimes 6 men. If they're not, they're doing something wrong. So you got
Exactly.
to figure that out. And it's all back to numbers. If
Yep.
anybody wants to pull anything from this about anything, it's all about numbers in football.
Yep.
Simple addition.
Well,
None of it is.
that is the end of the topics. Is there anything else you would like to talk about or say or anything?
Well, I was just curious to see how this whole thing's going, man. Um, I've been trying to figure out this whole Twitch game, and I finally logged on to it and figured it out because I know you've been doing this for a bit, and I've been kind of pushing you to do it because you're so passionate about it. But like,
Well,
how's
speaking
this
of
going? What's Go ahead.
speaking of you doing that, let me do this real quick.
Hello there.
Coach Angelos also made a Twitch account, followed just for the interview and everything today as well. So, it's been interesting. I was talking to someone yesterday about it actually, which is kind of
Look at
funny
that,
that you
man.
bring it up. Yeah, I was talking to someone about it yesterday. Um, the first year, me and my buddy Boo Black Ops 72, he streams on Twitch and Mixer and YouTube. Um, we kind of started doing this together just because I was playing games and it was like, fuck it, why not? Then, I got fired or I got let go of from coaching. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm just going to dive into this for a year, see what happens.
Yeah.
And when the football season happened last year, I hit rock bottom a little bit because of, it was the first season not doing it and everything. Um,
Yeah.
I've, I've learned a lot about streaming and stuff. And the biggest thing I've learned is like if you're not having fun with it, then why the fuck are you doing it?
Dude, that's just life right there. You know what I
When
mean? If they,
it is, and it's very noticeable when you stream it as well, because you can tell if there's a game that I'm not enjoying by my facial reaction, by me playing it, by what I'm saying, if I'm
yeah.
communicating with chat, like that sort of thing. But if it's a game that I enjoy, It's a whole different
Right.
experience. It's one of the things like recently I decided I'm going to stop playing Fortnite. I'm just done. I'm not
Hmm.
playing it anymore because I'm not having fun with it. You know, like I'm having fun playing the games I am now. You know, I got Sturge playing Apex Legends with me. I got Jeff playing Apex Legends with me. Sean played a game and we let him die, but we got him a win. Um,
I can only imagine what those sounded like with the four of you goons yelling at each other.
oh my god, it's fucking hilarious. But I mean, it's just like it's one of those things where I've been having, and like I said to my mom and dad as well, because of course they've been big supporters of me. Shocking, my parents are supporters. But they were supporters of me with coaching, and they wanted me to coach, and they still want me to do it, kind of. But my dad is like moving more towards the fact of like he's seeing how less stressed I am, how happier I
Right.
am, and it's like he's bought in as well, and it's fun doing something it's different, it's enjoying, like I recently, like for everyone out there as well, I bought 5 games today.
Right.
I would never have bought these games if I wasn't streaming. The reason why I bought
Right.
them is because one, they look like fun games. Two,
Well,
it's something that I'm gonna have fun with, and three, it's content for people.
that's the other thing too, is like I don't know, my ass from my elbow when it comes to all these games, but I was watching what's the one? It's like the graphics aren't that great, but it's like little Jimmy or Tommy or something. What? Help me out here. What's the one that you just played the game where it's like a stick figure and he's running through the
Oh,
uh,
it's either Hugh or Thomas Was Alone, I think.
Thomas was alone. That's
Yeah.
it. I was watching that just die. Like I'm watching another person play a game and I'm enjoying myself and laughing.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
like, and it's one of those weird ones because it's the thing of like it's like well, why are you watching someone play when you could just play, that sort of thing. The thing that I wanted to do as well was like a big one for me was like I didn't want to play the typical big name games, like Resident Evil is coming out with a remake. I don't want to play
right,
that.
right,
The newest Star Wars game just came out. I don't want to play that. I'm playing some games that are unknown, kind of underrated, that I enjoy the story of. It's kind of simplish, but it's a good story. Like Thomas Was Alone is one of my like favorite games I've played. Hugh, another one. Um, I'm about to start uploading a new series on Tuesday called My Name Is Pedro. Um,
right.
Absolutely chaotic game. But like that's kind of the thing is like some of the games that I've bought recently are along those lines. They're very unique. They're very different. One of them, I'll give everybody a little bit of a sneak peek into one of the games that I just bought. It's called Never Alone. A bunch of Alaskan Inuit elders basically got together and decided that they wanted to make a game about like their lore, their history, their legends,
Hmm,
because it's word of mouth. It's like Viking, kind of culture is word of mouth. Not a lot of it was written down. It's the same thing with Inuits. A lot of it's just word of mouth. So they made a game where you like kind of like go through everything. So I saw that and I'm like, that's fucking incredible. I'm gonna buy that. So I bought it. I have a game that a 16-year-old girl won an award for called Fractured Minds, and each level is a different aspect of mental illness. So it's like depression, it's about anxiety, it's this, it's that. And that game fucked with my head so bad by the end of it. It's like a 30-minute video that I put up. But it fucks with my head so bad at the end of it that like I didn't stream for the rest of the day because it was just like it hit me so hard with like the
right.
story and then so it's just kind of it's one of those things that like I like I'm in a very good place right now with doing this. And it's one of those things where I've said to a few people before, like I'm taking it to the next level. And a lot of people are like, oh, what do you mean by that? Like, da 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 da. I'm putting in like 40 hours a week almost streaming every week on
Right.
top of the 40 that I'm already working, like my regular job.
Well, I mean, that would be the ultimate goal. Is like, we could turn this into a revenue building thing, and this could be your jump and your Jones, because I always joke with people that in this coaching world or this coaching profession that I've done,
Hmm.
um, my all of my adult life, I've never worked a day in my life doing this. You know what I mean? Because
Oh,
it
yeah.
is so much fun. It is, and I'm sure you feel the same way and can speak to that. But I love what you're doing. We've definitely all noticed how much you put into this and how awesome it is for you. Like you're getting me, a guy who doesn't know a whole lot about, the online gaming or this whole, you know, world, and I'm following you on your YouTube and your Twitch and your just to like learn more
Well,
and kind of
no,
figure it out.
yeah, I mean, like that's the thing is like it's one of the crazy ones, like the support aspect of it. Like, like I have people that will say that I'm a friend of theirs or the this that they don't fucking support me. And then I have like you guys, that like you guys are going all like, Sturge was a guest, John was a guest, you're a guest, Jeff's gonna be a guest at some point. At some point I'm gonna have Jeff and Sturge on at the same time. Like just all
That
sorts
won't be
of.
good for ratings.
Oh,
That
it's gonna be awesome. Um, but like it's one of those things where like I've really appreciated the support because it's one of those things where like it's still for me it's still one of those things where like I still get a little bit anxious, I get a little bit nervous, I get a little bit kind of freaked out. Like I'm putting out my views, I'm putting out myself, and I'm not really a guy that likes to do that, but I'm doing it every day and I'm forcing myself to kind of do it. Like I think this year so far I haven't. There's been one day this year I haven't streamed, and there's been 8 days this year that I haven't posted to YouTube.
right.
You know, I'm grinding. Like I'm full fucking grinding. I'm here and like I'm doing this mainly because is like I think that I'm funny looking. I'm funny, you know, and I think that I can put out some really fun content for people that someone out there probably likes. You know.
Well, that's the thing too, is like I always I put the notifications on my YouTube thing, and it seems like it's almost like every morning when I'm at the desk with the kids, I get a little ding, and Greenwood's playing some game or some little time is lost somewhere. I need 5 minutes so I can watch this and giggle
Yeah.
like a schoolgirl before I get back to my grind too.
Oh yeah,
So
I mean, but yeah, no, man, I've been it's been eye opening. There's a lot of good things coming down the road too that I have set up that a few people know of. Not a whole lot of people know what is coming for the channel, but there's a few things that I have lined up that I think are going to be really kind of fucking cool. Um, and hopefully everyone else finds it kind of cool too. But like yeah, no, I'm excited. I think this year's gonna be. I think this year is gonna be a good year. Like I like going back to one of our topics earlier, goal setting. I do have a big stream goal, which is 25,000 total views this year.
hey man, there's no reason why you won't be able to get that.
Well, it's one of those things. Like I'm if anything, like I may not be the best at a lot of games, which I'm not, but I'm fucking consistent. I'm on every day. I'm being entertaining, and I got a good core group of people that are on my side. So it's us versus
Yeah,
fucking everyone.
I can I can see there's a devoted little like legit following right now, and that's what's like promising.
Yeah,
It's like you're not just some dude up here uploading videos and nobody's giving a damn. Like you got a nice little community going.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I'm trying to do. It's one of those things where it's like I don't like as well. This like and the other thing is I want to get it so it's it's not just like me being here and then like everyone else is in my community. But if someone else is in my community and they stream or they do this and that, I'm like, nah, fuck those guys. No, I want to try to always be in people's games, people's chats.
Right,
I may not actually be talking, but I'll be having them on a screen. I'll be watching them. I'll be doing stuff, But like, I'm always trying to support the people that support me, you know.
right.
But yeah, no, man, I've been really enjoying it. And I'm glad that you guys are, not only just supporting, but like to a fucking whole nother level. Because it's one of those things where like I never thought ever that I would have 420 something followers and 10,000 views. You
Right.
know, like just that wasn't something I thought would happen. And fucking here we are, 1 year in, and it's fucking happened. So it's time to grow.
Hey man, bring me on episode 1,000 next this March 1st next year, and we can recap this.
Exactly. Well, the thing that's gonna be interesting. I got to figure out. Um, once the NFL season hits, how I'm going to do the podcast, because Sunday nights is when I do my play-by-play. So I'm going to have to monkey with stuff, because I would like to keep the podcast going, like fully
Yeah.
throughout the year and just every single week. So I'm going to figure out a day later on that will work and like will make sense. But yeah, no, I'm excited, man. It's like I said, I got a lot of fun stuff coming up that I think a lot of people will like.
Yeah, man, for sure. I can't wait to see where this channel goes and what we do.
But all right, so that's it, guys. That is podcast number 4 over with. The longest podcast. I'm not shocked by that, though. Me and Zach always just, always a great time talking with you, Zach. Anything left to say before we sign off?
Hey, man, it was a pleasure. Thanks for bringing me on. I enjoyed it tonight, and hopefully somebody else enjoyed it, but besides you and I.
Well, I
So,
mean, we'll find out. But and if they didn't, fuck them. Yeah, that's right. I said that to you guys. What's up? Um, that's it for us, though, for tonight. So, depending on where you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Stay out of trouble, and we will talk to you all later. Bye.